Thank you, Mr. Rush. Our industry, I'll speak for the advanced biofuel category. Our industry accounts for about 85 to 90% of the advanced biofuel category. And I've been very proud to be a part of what's going on in the biodiesel industry. We've added 50,000 direct jobs, and many of our members have said that they look for soldiers that are coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan, because these are guys that are experienced in using fuels and dealing with equipment, and that's kind of a success story there. But one thing that two quick things I want to point out is that it's not just about the direct jobs. In the last 6 or 7 years, our industry's built more than 200 plants. There's been a lot of investment, and that's been a lot of indirect jobs that's gone into that and building renewable refinery capacity. And it's all happened not at the expense of the petroleum industry. The petroleum industry, as you'll notice, is doing fine, and it's really just helping to diversify the transportation fuel supply, and that's really what the goal of the RFS is, because if we can diversify the transportation fuel supply, as you pointed out in the first panel, if we can make the transportation fuel supply look more like the power generation supply, make it more diverse, more domestically abundant, then we can really bring transportation fuel prices down. And as Mr. Petrowski said, that is going to have the biggest impact on the economy.
Thank you.
The gentleman's time has expired. At this time, I recognize the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Shimkus, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, appreciate the hearing. Mr. Jobe, can you, Mr. Waxman talked about palm oil. So obviously I'm from the Midwest. We were very involved, obviously, in the getting biodiesel into the market, and mined soybeans, reformulated cooking oil, beef tallow, and also I made a statement in the opening statement that the issues that you are or may not be involved with in this whole debate on blend water, you really are kind of a subset of this whole debate. I don't know if anyone's raising concerns. Can you talk briefly about a couple of those provisions, the palm oil thing, and how else you're related to this sector?
Thank you, Congressman. I was really hoping you would ask me about that question. Very simply put, palm oil does not qualify for the RFS. So the concern that palm oil will be coming in to fill the advanced biofuel is not a concern at this time. Furthermore, the concern stated by the gentleman from Union of Concerned Scientists is not a concern either. And here's the reason. It's based on the structural difference built into the advanced biofuel category. In order for the biodiesel industry to grow our category, the biomass-based diesel category, we have to go to EPA every year. It's just baselined at 1 billion gallons, a minimum of 1 billion gallons, and we have to go to the EPA every single year, and we have to demonstrate them through very substantial and robust data development, how much we can produce, how much our growers can produce, how much domestic supply we have, without disrupting other markets, imports, exports, and all of those other things. We've been very, very conservative with our target goals, and so you are very right. Biodiesel is made from a very, very diverse range of domestic materials, from all types of animal fats from livestock production, all types of oil seeds, and that's been a real strength to our industry.
And we wouldn't have passed the original piece of legislation back in '98 had we not. It really expanded the ability for a lot of different commodity products to get in there, because it needed a big coalition. If it was just soybeans, we wouldn't have enough votes. But by bringing in a whole new coalition, that helped. Yeah, and that the poignant thing about your explanation how the system works is really what we're kind of demanding, Mr. Chairman, on part of this ethanol debate is, what's the real production limits? There's 4 different categories in this whole calculation. Now, what are we actually producing, and what can get into the market, versus what theoretically do we think we should have, and why aren't we there? And that's, I would say, that's a risk premium on the RINs, because we just don't know. We've got a arbitrary number set in statute versus what are we continuing to ask to do.